Names are difficult. When you're planning a world or building a world and you want to name towns, villages, cities, or countries, it's not always easy. But when you are world building and you want to create a world that is fairly cohesive, one of the most important things to do is considering language. Now, in Labyrinthum is a very Latin name. We have this country here where I am currently building in. Now, since I did name this World Labyrinthum, and I started using Latin as a basis for the villages and towns and cities here, I thought Latin is probably a good way to go for this country. This country doesn't have a name yet. But how do you name a place? Now, quite often, places are named after people, or deities even, or perhaps a description of the location. Now, I have lived in Japan where a lot of the places are literally descriptions of the locations. Tokyo means Eastern Capital. It literally means that, yes. So, a lot of places are just descriptive names. So that's what I'm going to be doing with this country here. However, I should mention that the first village that I built here, Savoria, I used a fantasy name generator. And it just sounded good. It sounds like it could be Latin, but it actually isn't. It's just a fantasy name. So apart from Savoria, which I built the village right in this area here, everything else is going to be based on Latin, but some of them are going to be altered. So the first place that I used Latin is this place. So this city here is built on a cliff, or shall I say a precipice. So I used Google Translate, and I thought Precipia would be a good name for this city. And I really like it. It really sticks out, I think. I think it's just a really good name for a city that's on top of a cliff. The capital city I have also named. So this area here, we got a nice big hill in the middle, and it's a peninsula, mostly surrounded with water, of course. That's the definition of a peninsula. It's not named after a peninsula. No. I think what we need to do is go and take a look at Google Translate. So here's what I named the capital city. Colina, which translates as hill. Very, very specifically, it means hill. So that is pretty descriptive here. Actually, if you translate hill, it's Collis, and I just call it Colina. Now let's move on to this farming village. So much of this village is built on a hill, so I can't use that word. However, there is a vast area of farmland all around it. So let's take a look at Google Translate and see what names we can come up with. So it's a good idea just to go through a few names. Now we could go with farm, fundus, farming, agricultura. That doesn't sound right. I don't really like fundus either. Field. Let's see.
Ager.
Ager. I don't like the sound of that one either. Well, when you think of farming areas, usually it's fairly flat, right? Planus.
Planus.
Planus. Planus actually sounds nice. I mean, it's very simple. It is a very, very simple name. But I like this for that village. It makes me think it's a flat area. It just fits, I think. I think we're going to go with Planus for this village. Next up is this mining village. Now this one is right up here against a mountain. And I think we should take a look at possible names for this village. So let's go back to Google Translate. All right, so we're up against a mountain, right? Mons. No, that's just too plain. Mine? Maus? Oh, that's a different mine. So let's see. Mining. Fodinai? No. I could say Moria. But no. Mines of Moria. How about stone? Lapis? Interesting, but we have lapis. I mean, lapis is lapide. That is how you pronounce it, right?
Lapide.
Lapide. Okay. What are some common ores that we mine? Gold? How would we pronounce that?
Aurum.
Aurum. We don't have silver. Copper. Cuprum. I don't like the sound of that one. Iron. Ferrum. Iron. Ferrum. Ferrous. Well, there's ferrous. But the ferrous is in English as well. Ferrous. I like the sound of that better than ferrum. This is an adjective. I think ferrous is a good choice here. So we have one other village here. It's not going to be the last village, as I will be building one from scratch. But this one is interesting. Now, I am calling this a resort village. So it's going to be like hot springs in here. I need to figure out a good name for this one. We've also got ledge. We have already used Precipia. So let's take a look at Google Translate for this. So let's take a look at hot spring. Fons Calidus. Spring. Ver. I don't think so. Resort. Diversorium. Hold on. I think we can alter this. What if we take Versorium? This might work. Versorium. Let me just try this. Switch this around. I want to see what happens if I do this. Turning wheel. Turning wheel. Very interesting. Oh, Rota Versatilis. But I just like the sound of that. Diversorium. I could go with Diversorium, but Diversoria? Or Versoria? I think this one I'm going to leave up to you. Do you think Diversorium, Diversoria, or Versorium or Versoria would be good? Let me know in the comments. Now our final village is actually really close to the border with the southern Japanese themed country. And this is going to be inside a cave. So I have, of course, placed this here. Entrance to an underground settlement? Why, yes. So we've got a nice big area here that I could completely light up so that nothing will come out and surprise me. And we got a giant drop here. So this is going to be pretty safe once it's lit up. So what can we call this village? I think we're going to have to take a look at Google Translate again. Okay, so we've got, let's say, underground. Subterraneous. No, that doesn't sound right. Obvious one, cave. Spelunka. Antrum. I mean caverna, but antrum. So if we go with antrum here, switch this around. Let me just do this. Antrum. Antrum is cave. Antrum. I like antrum a lot better than spelunka. Spelunka makes me think of just going caving. But antrum I like. I've heard of this word, of course, but yeah, I think that's it. Antrim. That's a good one. And finally, let's look at the entire country itself. It's not a very big country, but it's going to be quite central to this world. This is where you start, and I think it's going to be fairly important. But what do we call this? We're going to have a name for this country in a moment. So, what can we call this? Now, this is, I don't know, patria. Just patria for a country. Homeland. Patria. Kingdom. Regnum. Regnum patria. Wait. Homeland Kingdom. Regnum patriae. We're getting some interesting names here. Let's see. I think maybe fertile land. Terra fertilis. No, nothing with land. We don't need terra. Home. Domus. I don't particularly think so. But I like patria. Or how about Homeland Kingdom? Regnum patriae. Patria? Patria sounds good. I think I kind of like it. I think we're going to go with patria. Let's make sure the pronunciation.
Patria.
Yeah, close enough. I think we have a name for the country. Welcome to Patria. That's interesting, just having a name for it now. Of course, this is subject to change. I might have a change of heart for any one of these places. And maybe someone will come up with a better name. I would actually like you to tell me, do you have any good suggestions for any of these places that we've talked about? And please base it on Latin, because I would like to use that as a common theme through this country. Now, other countries, I will use Norse, or I'll use Norwegian for this country here. This one I'm not entirely sure, nor this one over here. But this one, this is a fairly large one. This is going to be Japanese themed. This one's kind of small. But I was kind of thinking, even though it's small, just because I happen to be at the gym today, I was on a treadmill, and the treadmills have a screen where you can walk or hike through different scenery. And I happened to be hiking through Mont Saint-Michel. And it just had me thinking, I need a country that has French names. Or like French. And maybe this one. It's a small country, but I could dot this with Oh, this already has like 3 villages right here. Got another one over here. And another one here. And do we have another one up here? Yes, we do. This would also be part of this country. I like that. So this country could be French. Who knows? But I would like you to let me know what other names you would suggest for this country, however. Any of the villages. Let me know in the comments below. If you like videos like this and would like to see some more, then please consider subscribing to this channel as well as my main one, where I will be building this world. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.